Coming up, I'm going to reveal 4 things to delete before quitting your job and quitting to protect your brand. South Korean workers have had enough of bad bossery, and then your next job offer could come via Slack, and we coach you up. This is where we coach you to have the competitive edge, so you make more money and more impact in your work. That's where you'll spend more of your life than anywhere else. It needs to be enjoyable, and it needs to be meaningful, and it needs to be plentiful when it comes to the pocketbook. And so that's why I'm here. I'm your coach, Ken Coleman. Let's go. So saw a really interesting article, and this is a pinpointed teaching to start today's show, but it's more relevant than ever because we've had 40 plus million people leave their jobs in the last 9 months, and it's not going to slow down. And as a result of moving up in your career, you will have to quit. I mean, the very nature of progressing means that you will have some times in your life where you're quitting, or in other words, moving on. And I saw this article. It was very, very practical. So I'll pull a couple things out, and then I want to focus again on this personal brand because it does follow you. What you did in the past, but even though you're moving on and you feel like, all right, I'm climbing up the ladder, it was nice, and maybe it wasn't so nice, whatever the reason is that you're leaving, I really want us to focus on leaving well because it affects our personal brand. But first, this article outlined 4 things to make sure that you delete before you leave. I thought, well, this is interesting. So just quickly list through this. Personal files, like photos or tax documents you use at a company computer or company phone, and that stuff's on those devices. You need to delete that. That's personal information for you. It's taking up bandwidth, and it's personal for you, so go ahead and clean that up. Pretty technical there. Personal apps, software, or extensions that you downloaded that were, again, maybe allowed or not authorized. But again, it's the company's computer, eats up space. So delete that. How about personal message apps and cookies? Now, I'll just be very honest with you. I don't know what a cookie is. The only cookie I know of, Nathan and Alex, is the cookie I like to eat. So I read this and I was like, this is a technical term. Probably a lot of people know. I don't. So there you go. But certainly the personal messaging apps, and then passwords. So, this is just security for you. You may have done personal banking on your work computer or whatever. And while you're protected inside those apps, the idea of all of your passwords, things of that nature, that may be on the browser, and the browsers have this ability to remember passwords. So you want to just clean all that stuff up of a personal nature to protect yourself. Now, we're not talking about anything sketchy here. This is just security around your finances and things like that. And who knows? You may have said something, let's just be real. You may have said something on one of these things that's not so flattering about your coworkers or your boss. And so let's just play this out for a second. Because it's very technical in nature, but the reason I really wanted to focus on it is because you think about this, your personal brand, and we've talked about this a lot on the show, is what people think of you when they hear your name. What people say about you when you pop up in discussion. That's your personal brand. And you can't control all that, but you can control your actions, your attitude, and being, honestly, living in a way that's above reproach. The idea that I live in a way that, if you're criticizing me, it's small potatoes. It may be style, but not substance. So this is the idea, but let's give an example. So let's say you turn your computer and your phone, and you've got text and stuff on there, and you've got your Slack or whatever it is, and HR can look at that, and if it's harmful, that goes in your file. If you're saying something negative about your boss, and they find out about it after you leave, like, wow, you think HR is not going to go to that boss and go, I got to tell you something, man, Coleman just read you the riot act one day. Guy thinks his words were exactly a spineless wimp or whatever. So now all of a sudden you get checked out by a future employer. They go back a couple jobs or the next job and they reference it. All of a sudden, everything could have been great and clean and easy, but because you were irresponsible and weren't smart to cover your tracks and delete stuff that, just didn't need to stay there, all of a sudden, you have a stain. This is the idea. Now let's move forward. This is all, this practical stuff I led off with is about protecting your personal brand. Doesn't mean you're dishonest. It just means you got to be smart and protect your brand. And we all need to be aware of this all the time. So let's go back to an article that I wrote called How to Create a Winning Personal Brand. Because this is what I want you to know. You can look up the article at kencoleman.com, How to Create a Winning Personal Brand. And what we've been talking about is when we leave, let's leave well. Part of your personal brand is how we leave. Now, we've shown this on the show, but we've shown some horrible TikToks where these kids, the one that sticks out of my mind that honestly, Alex, it's seared into my conscience for the rest of my life, is the young gal that gets on the microphone at the Walmart or the Kmart or the Target, who knows, it was one of those big old stores, and just goes on some expletive-laden tirade that put a lot of bad people in their place. Well, let me just say, her frustration was real, and she deserved to be frustrated. But if that's my daughter, I'm sitting down with her and I'm going, hey, I know how you feel. This is before she goes on the tirade. I know how you feel. You deserve to feel that way. But you going off on a tirade on your last day, like, what is it, a Bon Jovi song, Joe? Down in a Blaze of Glory, right? I mean, going out like that feels really good in the moment. Can we be honest? Let's be honest. It feels good to just let somebody have it, doesn't it? In the moment. But A, it doesn't solve the problem. And B, it can follow you. So I implore you, no matter how poorly you've been treated, leave well. Leave well. Beyond those tips right there, how about, you know what? Work hard until your last day. Till the last moment you walk out. Work hard. Help even the horrible leader with the possible transition process. Why, Ken? Why would I do that? They treated me so poorly. Because here's the deal. You acting resentful, hurtful, prideful, whatever, is only going to make them look for an opportunity for spite, because you're leaving them, to damage you. As opposed to, what if you blow them away? And maybe they never say anything good about you, but they don't have a vendetta against you. That's the issue here. So part of a winning personal brand is in the areas of life when we need to leave. And this is the whole focus of the opener here, is that there are times when we need to leave, we should leave, and we're leaving because they're jerks or it's a toxic culture and we've been wronged. Absolutely all true. But us leaving indignant and burning up or blowing the bridge, A, doesn't fix what's been wronged, what has been wrong rather, and it could serve to further damage the relationship, which could be hurtful to you down the road. Move on. There's a couple things we got to get to today. Oh boy, oh boy. This is going to be an in the news like no other. Let's get to it. Okay, so this is very interesting stuff. So LinkedIn, when you think of social media or an app for connection and getting opportunities, you think of LinkedIn, you think of Facebook, right? You think of Instagram, things of that nature. How about Slack? I sent this article to Alex yesterday because this rolled across my the stuff I look at. I look at all these different news services, and this is from Wall Street Journal. And so Slack, if you're unfamiliar with this, and by the way, I've never used it. Have you used it before? You have? Yeah. So I've never used it. I don't think we use stuff like that here. We have our own Microsoft Teams, which is in a Microsoft thing. So anyway, it's an inter-office communication thing. Think of it like a texting app. Okay. So now it's become a messaging tool to fast-track job opportunities. Makes total sense. Slack, beyond just being an internal company communication thing, is now hosting independent channels for people who don't work together. So it's become a place of connection, right? And in the past 2 years, that's exploded. And as a result, Slack-based networking groups have grown. And so people can swap career advice, tips, opportunities, openings, all those things. So this Wall Street Journal article features a story about a guy named Barron who got involved in one of these Slack groups. Cybersecurity Marketing Society was the name of it. And he found a new marketing job really fast. So he submits a request to join the Slack channel. He gets in. But before he's let in, one of the group's members touted his experience. So he knew him. He said, man, this guy's got a lot of experience, and he's also looking for a job. So that immediately becomes a bulletin board for him. Listen to this. Within a week of joining the Slack channel, Barron got 20 calls for interviews. And he said, I had been used to being ghosted or waiting around for 2-3 weeks when I applied for things. Within a couple of days of the first conversation with one of the companies, he received a job offer. So why do I share this article? If you're in Slack or you haven't used Slack and you can use Slack, this is another great way to use the proximity principle. To get around people that are doing what you want to do, get in places where it is happening. Slack is another opportunity, and it's brilliant. But let's just also go Facebook groups in areas that you want to get in, LinkedIn groups, whatever. If you just put yourself out there and get in community, and again, this is the proximity principle. It says in order to do what you want to do, you got to be around people that are doing it in places that it's happening. Look at that book right there behind me. Oop, I got to point this way. I never get this right. There it is. Best-selling book. You can do this on Slack now. So I don't know why you wouldn't do it. All right. Speaking of getting in proximity, this is why I endorse ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter is a free profile for you. It takes just a couple of minutes to get it going, and then they start recruiting for you. Now, it doesn't mean that every job they send you is going to be the right fit. But, folks, it's free to you. It takes no time out of your life. And Zip, they got this artificial intelligence. They go boom, boom, boom. I think Joe's good for this, this, and this. And they send Joe's profile to the company. The company goes, I like the way Joe looks. I want to interview Joe. They go, great. So Zip emails Joe, company ABC wants to interview you. And then he decides. One click. Resume's there. So, Joe, don't get any ideas. I was just using you as an example. We'd like you to stay here. That would be great. ZipRecruiter.com. ZipRecruiter.com. Okay. I kind of needed to just talk about ZipRecruiter for a second because what I'm about to show you is probably one of the most disturbing things I've ever covered on the show. And this is not, I want to warn you that what you're about to see is disturbing and shocking. It is not, there's no blood. It's not gross, but I just don't want this to sneak up on you. But this is important to look at because this is horrible bossery, manipulation, power play, bullying, all compressed into one story. And I got to tell you, I couldn't believe it. So be prepared. This is shocking. Wait a second. Don't run it yet. There we go. This is from the New York Times. And here's what's going on. There is a big problem in South Korea that they have now called Gapul. Gap, meaning people with power, abuse, Yule. Gapul. And what is going on here is just simply there's such a hierarchical society in South Korea that it is very easy and has been commonplace for generations for people in power, whether that be politics or business, to abuse the people they work for. Well, there's been a backlash. Websites, street banners, even stickers in public bathrooms, government agencies, the police, civic groups, corporations, where there's this Gapul hotline. And so the tide is beginning to turn. And while this is a cultural thing, this is also global. But I've never seen anything like this. So I'm going to show you this video. Sorry, Nathan. Now we can roll the video. Watch this. This is happening in a South Korean workplace. So there's the boss right there in the gray shirt, sleeves rolled up. He's mad. He's upset about something with this worker. Look at this. Smacked a kid right in the face. Now this other guy's trying to step in. Leader doesn't care. Presses in. Smacks him again. Now this is where it gets worse. And I think this is the worst part. The smacking, the slapping is worse. I mean, is awful. But watch this. Now he's subjugating this poor young man to humiliation beyond slapping him. And now on the back of the head. All right. So I got to tell you, I've seen that video 5 times now. It's still shocking to me. What's happening there? Now, we can't blame this all on South Korea, but it's a cultural league. But what's going on there is happening in American workplaces, not necessarily with the slapping, but the slapping, as egregious and awful and horrific as that is, it is a form of humiliation. He literally makes this young man bow and then hits him on the head again. This is outright abuse. And it comes from a total lack of respect for human dignity. There's none. That leader does not care at all about the feelings, the dignity of that young man. That is a straight power play. And I will tell you, while I don't think this happens much in the United States, and I'd put this out, if this has happened to you or somebody, you can email us, ask@kencoleman.com. We'll expose the story. But here's the deal. Some of you work for leaders that slap you around verbally. That physical slap is hard to look at. But I took away from that this is happening every day in American offices where leaders are slapping people verbally to cause humiliation and to allow for manipulation. That is a straight, and I don't like the word bullying getting used too much. That is bullying for purposes of humiliation that will lead to manipulation. See, when a bad leader humiliates you over and over, can I just tell you, it is their attempt to manipulate you through fear and humiliation. Don't you dare take it. God forbid. If I'd have been in that office, Joe, there'd have been a stapler right up the side of that leader's head. It would have been a little WWE. Yikes. All right, it's time for our coaching session. If you would like to be coached up, you can do it. You can call us, 844-747-2577, Monday through Friday. We're live, 12 Central Time. You can also email us, ask@kencoleman.com. And can I just tell you, we want the more super sensitive, crazy career nightmare stories. Can I just tell you that? And the reason is, here's what we're hearing. When we cover those calls and we take your calls and we protect your identity, your location, all that stuff, so much of that crap is going on out there. And it encourages and empowers people when I can help one person through it. So if you're going through a really awful situation, you feel really stuck, hopeless, helpless, we want to talk to you. If you are in a career nightmare situation, a toxic, abusive, just crazy thing, we want to help you. 844-747-2577, or you can email us, ask@kencoleman.com, ask@kencoleman.com. Douglas is up in Phoenix, Arizona. Douglas, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, how's it going?
I am living the dream, Douglas. How can I help?
Well, me, not so much. I'm just trying to figure out what I should make my next move.
Okay.
From this company I've been with for 8 years, and I generally, love the people. It's just sometimes it seems like it's gotten way too crazy, and I seem overwhelmed. And
what does crazy mean?
Well, between not having enough staff, one thing goes up and down. It's just been crazy busy and can't seem to keep up. And then last month and a half, I haven't been, since May 1st, and when I got back from vacation, I haven't been. It seems like lots of stress and not much sleep going on. And
oh boy. Yeah. Have you told?
I don't know, and a buddy of mine said it was like maybe it's partly the job. He stresses the job.
What do you think?
It's almost like I've had a midlife crisis without being able to afford a sports car.
Yeah, right. So what would you identify as the biggest stressors from your current job?
Just always the go, and not seeming like have a lot of guidance from leadership, and also that I've been basically doing the same positions and jobs over and over and over again, and with, I'm not making much more than minimum wage, even though I've gotten a couple dollar raises over the past year. And minimum wage here in Arizona, I think, is like $12.85 or something like that. And I'm making like $1.30 more than that.
Okay, so here's what's going on. We've got the perfect storm. I don't know if you ever saw that movie with Mark Wahlberg and George Clooney. You got the perfect storm.
Been a while.
Yeah. You know what's going on? You got money issues. You're not making enough money to really thrive. You have monotony. You're doing the same thing over and over again. There's no juice in it. It's just monotony. And then on top of that, it's manic. It's nuts. It's like too much. I got 3 M's there. Not enough money, too much monotony, and it is too manic. That is we're talking like get out of the building, man. It's burning down. Am I right?
Yeah. Usually the work, I can get the work done. But sometimes I still see some of the stuff, because I'll go get stuff from one warehouse, bring it over to the other, and then, wherever. And it's like, and I've done the work before. It's just, I can get it done. It just seems like too much when I see it sometimes. It's like,
right. It's too much.
Poop,
yeah. So I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of talking about where we are.
Yeah.
You called me because you want to talk about where you want to go. Am I right?
Yes.
What are you thinking about?
Well, I did take the quiz, wrong place, wrong
should I quit my job quiz?
Basically, and I did. It basically said that. I just don't know how to go from there. And I did take the
Get Clear career assessment.
Yes, and basically it said a lot of the things that I kind of knew already.
Yeah, good.
And I just need to know. I just want to know how to go about it and where to go, because I haven't done a resume in 8 years.
No, but that's a non-issue. I've got a free resume guide at kencoleman.com you can download after this call is over. It's free. Okay? The resume is not your issue. The issue is where. And then we can figure out the how. I can't tell you the how until we know the where. And I already asked you point blank if you had an idea, what are you thinking about? And you didn't answer it. And I think that's because you're scared or you're uncertain about how to get there. But I didn't ask you how to get there. That's my job, to help you come up with some tactical things before this call is over on how. But I want you to tell me what you wonder about. Don't tell me you don't wonder about. If qualifications weren't an issue, if connections weren't an issue, Douglas, what kind of work would you want to do tomorrow if you could just snap your fingers? Don't give me a job title. Just what kind of work you want to do. Who you helping? How you helping?
Basically, I like to, help people, kind of protect people and serve people, but also I like to work with my hands.
Okay, tell me what that would be. Tell me your.
I went to school for auto diesel technician.
Great.
But I gave up on that in 2008 and 2009 because of when things went down. I kind of just gave up on it, and I know I shouldn't have, but that's in the past.
That's okay. It is in the past.
So I'm
you like serving
people.
Well, and so let's not just limit yourself to diesel mechanic. The bottom line is you're very talented with your hands in a lot of areas. I'll bet you're more talented than just working on engines. True or false?
Yeah, I can do a lot of different things, and I like radios and basically getting kind of nerdy working with stuff.
Okay.
And helping people in general.
Well, and you are helping them by fixing their stuff. Think about it. A guy comes in, a single mom comes in. You're a mechanic. Or a single mom or somebody comes in that they need this thing that's technical in nature, whether it's a radio, whatever it is. And they need it fixed because they can't afford to buy a new one. And they need it fixed quickly and efficiently and not get ripped off. And you fix it. And you do it with a smile. I can't think of a better way to serve somebody. I can't think of a better way to provide relief for somebody. So, Douglas, there are multiple jobs and career paths that allow you to fix something or assemble or build or whatever something that you are not only just fixing or building or whatever, solving, but you're interfacing with people and they see your smiling face and they go, thank you, Douglas, so much. You go, no problem. Happy to do it. Come on, Douglas. How's that? How's that feel?
It always makes me feel good to actually make somebody else with less stress.
I can hear
also, one thing, the two things that in the last few years that kind of make me I can talk about, on end, is basically because I'm an amateur radio operator. I like to do that.
Okay.
And I like to work on stuff and sell stuff, basically help people and all that stuff.
Okay.
I'm kind of a technical-minded nature. I just kind of lose track and lose focus and then go off into the weeds.
Yeah, well, so the more you do what you love, the less you'll lose focus. Because that is your focus. I listen, if I'm not creating content or communicating or coaching, I would be like that too. But I do what I love every day, and I come in and my entire agenda and schedule is pretty much 85 to 90% of that. I have the meetings every once in a while, but other than that, I'm creating, scheming, planning, executing, coaching, communicating, and man, I'm laser focused and I have ADHD.
You and me both.
I know. It's because we're creative. We're very creative. You're creative in a different way than I am. Okay, I can barely put gas in the car, but you can fix just about anything. So here's what I'm going to recommend to you. Number one, I want you to get involved in the shortwave radio and all that stuff. Get in communities because there are other people in there that are like you. They're very technical in nature and probably have a day job. So you want to talk about finding opportunities and connections and recommendations? Get involved in that community today. You got me?
Yeah. Well, I thought about going to work for one of the
great
ham radio companies.
Fantastic.
Ham radio companies.
Hey, ding, 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 ding. That's amazing. That's a combo. But you need to get in community where you thrive and where you love this stuff, and they may open up doors for you for opportunities just in a technical nature. So here's the deal. Today's the day. Go to kencoleman.com, get the free resume guide. It's got a template in there for you. It's going to do all the work for you. Just follow the instructions. You're great with that. Do it and start connecting, getting yourself out there. Hey, let's give him the book From Paycheck to Purpose and the Proximity Principle to give him a double dose of connection skills. You got this, Douglas. Renee is up next in Newport News, Virginia. Now, I want to tell everybody, I grew up in Newport News. This is the old stomping ground here, folks. Very exciting. Renee, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hi.
Hi, Renee. How are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Well, I'm having the time of my life, and I got to tell you, a little nostalgia here. I grew up in Newport News, Virginia, so this is very fun to see on the screen. Yeah, absolutely. How can I help?
Okay, so my question is, I'm 26. I've really lived on my own because I never knew what I really wanted to do, but I recently found something I deeply do enjoy. But I make less than I did at Kroger an hour, and I was just wondering, if I should go ahead and just get a second job to help support myself while doing what I love. Or
what is that? What is it that you love?
I'm currently a veterinary assistant. I work with animals.
No kidding. That's awesome. And so your hourly rate is how much less than what you made at Kroger?
Well, they bumped it up an extra 20 cents, so it's $13.80 right now at the clinic, and at Kroger I was making $14.50.
Okay, and so this is entry level, though, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so realistically, what does a promotion look like for you in the veterinary space? What would you move to next?
I can go back to school and be a technician. But some of them have really killed my spirit a little bit because some of them say it isn't worth it, and some say it is.
Well, so that's the reason I asked the question, because from what I understand, even vet techs, it's expensive, is it not? The schooling?
One of them said it was $10,000 a year. So.
Okay, you need to go get answers. So there's your first homework assignment from me. I don't want you just listening to the people you work with that have kind of dampened your spirits, because there are reasons for why it's not worth it is really irrelevant to you. You have to determine, do you think it's worth it? So we start with, how much does it cost? What's the low end? So let's call it the beer budget. You with me? What's the
Right.
what's the middle range, the wine budget, and then what's the champagne? And the reason I want you to know all this is because I don't want you to be tempted to go get the champagne or the wine when the beer will do. You feel me?
Right.
Here's why. Renee, nobody cares where you went to school. So if getting the technician certification or whatever that is allows you to get promoted to a significantly higher pay and sets you up for the future you want, and you are patient enough to save, or you're disciplined enough to work the second job and work your tail off, then I'd say do it. But you need to talk to some people outside of your coworkers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe even talk to the vet in charge to go, hey, if I go get this qualification, is it set me up for a promotion? You know, you just got to dig into this. And once we get knowledge, then you can make a much more confident decision. But here's what we know. You love working with animals. So while you're checking into the vet tech certification or continuing education, what are some other jobs in the veterinary field that would pay you more? Because here's my question. If you were making $15 an hour, would you be calling me?
I don't know.
No, yeah, you do.
Probably not.
So you called me today because you're going, I got this weird thing. I need to get Ken's take on it. On one hand, I'm doing what I really enjoy, but it's like $1 less an hour or whatever it is. And that just doesn't feel right. But the issue isn't what you're making now. The issue is what you will be making in the future. The issue isn't what you're making now. The issue is what you're doing now and what you want to do in the future. Am I right?
Right.
Because you don't want to stay at Kroger.
No.
So here's the deal. I already gave you one homework assignment. You also need to do your due diligence to find out, what does promotion look like? What is a path moving up to where I'm making 40,000, 45, 50, 60,000? Is it possible? What needs to be true for that to be my future? Dive into that. You got this, kiddo. I want to mention this. I haven't mentioned it in a while, Alex. So correct me if this is the unplanned announcement that he so loves. If you want to be on a Zoom call with me, we're still doing that, yes? So if you want to go one-on-one via video, because the nature of your call is not super sensitive, we have that ability to do that, and that would be great fun. And I will tell you that our YouTube audience really loves watching that interaction. And so if that's you and it's not a super sensitive call, email us, ask@kencoleman.com. Is that okay to do that? Yeah, I know he loves it when I think of these things. But when I do some limited coaching, the Zoom function is what we can do here on the show. So if that's of interest to you, ask@kencoleman.com. We'll get that set up. All right, Carl is up in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Carl, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Hey, Ken. First of all, let me say I'm a huge fan.
Oh.
This is kind of surreal.
Oh,
really.
that's very
This
nice.
is surreal.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
How can
Been
I help?
listening. So I want to know when it's time to quit, because I'm quitting my job.
Yeah.
And
Big question, man. I get it.
I'm trying to start a business.
Yeah.
And I will say, on the days that I do work for myself, are very fulfilling, and the money's better, but I don't I'm married. I have children. I have bills. And
yeah.
When do you know when it's time to just step up to that ledge and jump?
Yeah. Well, number one, we don't want to jump. There is no jumping.
Okay.
Jumping's overrated. It's great in America's Funniest Home Videos. It's great on YouTube bloopers. It's great in motivational posters and movies. But in real life, jumping is not always the best move. So I don't want you to jump. I want you to stride. How's that feel? You know what I'm talking about?
That sounds great. And I will tell you, we are on baby steps 4, 5, and 6.
Well, that's huge. My man.
So it is huge.
All right, now listen.
Huge.
So the answer to this question is actually mathematical.
Okay.
Which all of my math teachers would be laughing hysterically right now. because I have a hard time counting without my shoes and socks off. Okay? So here's the deal. This is a mathematical issue. How much, so you're making in the side hustle, when you are working full-time on it, you're making about the same rate or more if we were to kind of break your salary down. Is that what I heard?
I would venture to say at least, if not quite a bit more.
Okay.
Honestly, yes.
So the issue is we've already proven that when scaled, your side business is going to make you a whole lot more money when it's scaled to full-time. Right now, it's not full-time. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And you are in baby step 4, 5, and 6. Let me just bring the rest of the audience in that may not know that language from Ramsey Solutions. Baby step 4, 5, and 6 is that Carl and his family have no debt except their house, and they are saving 15%. They got an emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months of his expenses in the bank, and they are putting 15% of his income or their income for retirement. They are funding college, and they are in the process of paying off the house. That's what he means. So, Carl, you are in really good financial situation. Not only are you in good situation, you have the stability and discipline needed to do this the right way. So, this comes down to your side hustle has a bank account. And when your side hustle, the bank account of your side hustle has 6 months to 12 months of what you would pay yourself, that's when I'd make the move.
Okay.
Did you see how you reacted?
12 months of my salary. Yes. Yeah, it makes total sense.
Well, you reacted that way because that didn't feel scary.
No, it doesn't.
Why?
It doesn't feel scary.
Why doesn't it feel scary if you could look up today and see 6 to 12 months of your current salary set aside? Why does that not scare you?
Because that's security.
Why is it security? Why do you feel secure knowing that? Because what? Say it.
Well, because I don't have to worry for if something went wrong. I know I'm okay for 6 to 12 months to figure it out.
You're actually better than 6 to 12 months because in your personal bank account you have an emergency fund fully funded of 3 to 6 months.
Correct. And I will tell you this, Ken. So part of the reason why I'm doing this is because I originally lost a job that I was at for a long time, and that really, really scared us. And I don't want to. Yeah. I want to make as much money as I can. And that was another question that pertains to this is now part of the reason why I'm asking this is it's hard to grow a business when half of your time is spent at someone else's business. You're not growing your business if you're working for someone else.
No,
so that's another difficult part. So
well, but that'll take care of itself the day that you walk, stride, not jump, into your business.
I like that.
So
I love it.
So let's just get real practical. How much money do you have saved up? You don't have to tell me the number, but do you have a month or two? I mean, what kind of money retained earnings are you putting in this side business account?
Well, right now, basically, as the money comes in, we have it because it's self-employed. You gotta have your tax account.
Yeah, just answer my question. Just answer my question. Okay. How much are you putting away per month that are what we would call retained earnings?
Okay.
After taxes and everything else, what are you leaving in the account?
Leaving in the account, I would say. If I'm looking at are we talking about equal to my emergency fund? Because I would say about 2 to 3 months maybe of expenses for myself.
I asked you, how much are you putting away per month in the side hustle? I know all of it. How much?
Okay, so the exact figure, I would say it's been 6 weeks. So in 6 weeks, I have put away, I would say, 7 or 8 grand.
Okay. So you don't have to answer this for everybody to know, but that's a number. So how many more months will it take for you to put away 6 to 12 months of your current salary at the day job? How many more months? At putting 6 or 7 away, how many more months before you have a full-on 6 to 12 month cushion in your side business that you could pay you.
Right.
By the way, that's if you needed it. But the day you stride into the side business, if you've got 6 to 12 months put aside, but you don't have to touch it because you can live off of what you're generating, man, now you're cruising and you can actually grow the business. So I've done my role here. You get this. This is not hard. This is a math answer.
It is a math answer. And also, it's a scary. It's just,
No, it's not. It's not scary. You admitted to me it is not scary if we have 6 to 12 months of your salary put aside in your side business bank account. That's your answer.
Yes.
Now,
I love it.
Here's the deal, bro. The minute that you get there to 6 months, maybe you want to wait for it to be 10 months. Maybe you want the full 12 months. Fine. Do it. I don't have any problem with that. But my point is, when you get 6 to 12 months in there, now it's up to you as to when you want to say, see you later to the day job. It's your call.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, it's your call. If your security gland wants a year and a half worth of your salary before you go full-time for yourself, I don't care. But you get to determine the time that you stride, you waltz, you sashay, whatever your jam is, man. That's what we're doing. And we do that when our fear and risk has been mitigated. And so that's the answer. I really appreciate the call. You're a good dude. I pushed you a little bit because I'm trying to get you to the place where you see it, that you're in control of this. Not Ken Coleman, not anybody else. And I'm so excited for you. Wow, what a story. This dude's doing it the right way, folks. All right, I got to get out of here, but remember, you matter. You have what it takes. Press on.
Thanks for listening to The Ken Coleman Show. For more, you can find the show on demand wherever you listen to podcasts and watch the show on YouTube. You can also find Ken across all social media by following @Ken Coleman.